talk English.
Oh, great, it's Monday. Yeah, because adding one more vague, massive project is exactly what this week needed. Wow. Brilliant.
Right, because we were all just sitting around with way too much free time.
Exactly. And if you were listening right now and you just nodded along to that completely inverted logic, feeling the sheer weight of that Monday morning frustration, well, you're in the right place. Today we are doing a deep dive into one of the most tricky, subtle areas of native English communication.
We really are. We were talking about sarcasm. And, if you're learning English or just trying to navigate a new workplace, we desperately need a map for this stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, usually when you learn a language, you kind of expect mathematical precision, right?
Yeah.
You put in all this effort, you memorize the vocabulary, you learn the grammar.
And you assume the word for hello will always mean hello.
Exactly. But then you step into a native conversation, especially like an American workplace or a group of close friends, and suddenly the dictionary is just thrown entirely out the window.
It is. Words just start meaning their exact opposite. And the worst part is, nobody gives you a heads up that the rules have changed.
Yeah, which is terrifying. So our mission today for you, the listener, is to basically give you a decoded map of this whole complex tool so you can recognize it, use it safely, and hopefully avoid some really embarrassing cultural miscommunications.
Because the stakes are surprisingly high. So, to start off, we should probably define what sarcasm actually is at its core.
Right. So based on the sources we're looking at, sarcasm is essentially weaponized irony. You take the literal definition of a word and you just completely flip it on its head.
Yeah, and you do that using almost nothing but your vocal pitch or the immediate context of whatever room you're standing in.
But wait, that brings up a really big philosophical problem right away. Because if I tell you that a meeting was, like, fantastic, but it was actually a chaotic disaster, aren't I just lying to you?
That is a line that people trip over constantly. They just assume sarcasm is some sort of socially acceptable form of lying.
Right.
But the psychology behind it is actually totally different because, a lie is designed to deceive you. The speaker actively wants to hide the truth.
Okay, so then what is sarcasm doing?
Sarcasm is designed to be discovered immediately. It's basically a shared secret that's hidden in plain sight.
Oh, I like that. A shared secret.
Yeah. When you use it, you are banking on the fact that the listener is clever enough to see the gap between what you are saying and what the actual reality is.
I've actually always thought of it as a linguistic trust fall.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right, like I'm throwing my inverted meaning backwards into the air, and it only works if you are standing right there, mentally positioned to catch it.
And if they aren't ready, or they don't realize you're playing a game, you just hit the floor. Hard.
And when you hit the floor, the social damage is super real. The person who took it literally looks kind of naive or confused, and you just look like a complete jerk for saying something totally bizarre and mean.
Exactly. The whole mechanism relies entirely on trust in a shared context. And when you look at how people actually use this trust fall in the real world, it usually breaks down into 4 distinct types.
So let's break those down because I think listeners need to know which flavor's coming at them. So the first one is self-deprecating sarcasm.
Which is arguably the safest kind.
Yeah, because you're directing the flipped meaning entirely at yourself. So say I just spent 20 minutes frantically looking for my car keys, only to find them sitting inside the refrigerator next to the milk.
Which happens to the best of us.
It totally does. So I might hold them up to my roommate and just say, yeah, I am definitely the most organized person in this apartment.
Right, you are making yourself the target. You're inviting the other person to laugh at your expense, which instantly lowers everybody's social defenses.
It's very disarming. So what's the second type?
The second is social, or situational sarcasm. This one is reacting to a shared external frustration.
Oh, like walking into the office and seeing the internet is down for the 3rd time this week, and you just sigh and say, oh, wonderful, our world-class IT infrastructure strikes again.
Exactly. And that builds solidarity because you are both victims of the terrible internet outage. You're bonding over it.
Yeah, bonding over misery. Classic. Then the third type is friendly sarcasm.
Which you see constantly. It's the teasing you see in sitcoms and among close friends all the time.
Like, if you and a friend get completely lost driving because they swore they knew a shortcut, you might turn to them and just say, oh, sure, because you're so incredibly good at directions.
Right. But that one requires a pretty deep pre-existing bond. You're lightly jabbing at a flaw, but the real underlying message is, We are close enough that I can mock you, and we both know I still like you.
Right. The trust fall has a safety net. But then we have the fourth type, which is sharp sarcasm. And this is the riskiest one by far.
Oh, absolutely. This is essentially criticism masked as a compliment.
Yeah, so imagine someone makes a genuinely terrible business decision that costs your team a whole week of work, and you just look at them and say, brilliant strategy, really inspired.
Ouch. Yeah, that one leaves a mark. It's aggressive.
It really is. And actually, speaking of aggressive, I want to pause on the vocabulary for a second, because people throw around words like ironic and passive-aggressive, like they mean the exact same thing as sarcasm.
And they definitely don't.
Right, so if I leave an angry sticky note on the office microwave telling people to clean up their
What?
messes, is that sarcasm?
Not at all. That is textbook passive-aggressive behavior. Passive-aggressiveness is the indirect expression of negative feelings. It's avoiding direct conflict.
Like leaving a note instead of just looking your coworker in the eye and saying, hey, wipe down the microwave.
Exactly. Now, sarcasm can be used in a passive-aggressive way, but they are fundamentally different psychological tools.
Got it. And what about irony? How is that different?
Irony is a much broader, almost cosmic sort of situational joke. It's when the outcome of a situation is the exact opposite of what is expected.
Like a fire station burning down.
Exactly, that is ironic. Or a marriage counselor filing for divorce. But sarcasm is a specific human communication tool. It requires a speaker intentionally altering their words or voice.
Okay, that makes sense. So if these four flavors of sarcasm range from friendly teasing all the way to sharp criticism, how is the listener's brain supposed to process the flip in real time?
Yeah, how do you know the dictionary definition just reversed itself?
Exactly.
Well, it mostly comes down to recognizing cognitive dissonance. Native speakers broadcast sarcasm using 3 subtle signals, and the most powerful one is context mismatch.
Context mismatch.
Yeah, your brain recognizes an immediate gap between the reality of the situation and the vocabulary being used.
Okay, give me an example of that.
Let's say you just missed your train. You're running onto the platform, the doors close right in your face, and the train pulls away. If someone standing next to you says, "Great timing," the words themselves are positive.
But the reality is completely negative.
Exactly. The situation is awful, so the phrase "great timing" instantly shorts out. The context entirely overrides the vocabulary.
Right, the environment is doing all the heavy lifting for the joke.
It is. But to signal that override, native speakers also use a very specific vocal tone. That's the second major signal, and honestly, tone is the primary vehicle for sarcasm.
And what does that tone actually sound like?
It usually involves a flat, deadpan delivery, or sometimes this exaggeratedly bright delivery, but almost always it features a slight downward pitch on the cue words.
Okay, I actually want to test this. Let's model this for the listeners so they can really hear the physics of that pitch drop.
Let's do it.
Give me a phrase right now, and I want to hear the difference between sincere gratitude and just complete sarcastic disdain.
Okay, try the phrase, "Thanks a lot." First, I'm going to say it sincerely, like, "I just found your missing wallet on the street and handed it back to you."
Okay, hit me.
"Oh, thanks a lot."
Wow, yeah, that sounds super genuine. You seem really happy.
Right. My pitch goes up, there's energy. Now, I'll say it like, "I just spilled a massive cup of hot, sticky coffee all over your open laptop."
Oh, no. Okay, let's hear it.
"Thanks a lot."
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
It's like all the energy just drained completely out of the room.
exactly. The energy just dies at the end of the phrase. That downward pitch is literally an evolutionary signal of low energy or disappointment.
Right, so when you pair positive words with a disappointed, low-energy vocal pitch, the brain just clicks and realizes, oh, this is a joke.
Precisely. Tone and context together make it obvious.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. But I have to push back here for a second.
Sure.
If this entire communication style hinges on vocal pitch, energy drains, and facial expressions, how on earth does sarcasm survive in modern texting?
Oh, that is a great question.
I mean, there's no face, there's no voice, it's just pixels on a screen.
This is exactly where the landscape gets incredibly dangerous. In text-based communication, the tiniest punctuation mark has to carry all the weight of your body language.
Wow.
Yeah, your punctuation literally becomes your vocal pitch.
Are you talking about the dangerous passive-aggressive period?
I am absolutely talking about the period. If you text a coworker to ask if they can cover a shift and they reply, "Sure," with an exclamation point, it reads as genuine and enthusiastic.
Totally.
But if they text "sure" with a period, that harsh, abrupt stop simulates a flat, unenthusiastic vocal tone.
So it's highly likely to be interpreted as sarcastic, or at least deeply reluctant.
Exactly. A single dot completely changes a genuine agreement into reluctant hostility.
That is wild. Let's actually run through some of the everyday phrases from the source material, because seeing these in a text or just hearing them in passing can be a massive trap.
Yeah, we should definitely cover the classics.
What are the big ones?
Well, the classics are practically idioms at this point, so, oh, great.
Which means this is a disaster.
Right. Or, yeah, that'll work.
Which means that is a terrible plan, and it is 100% going to fail.
Exactly. Or we have thanks a lot.
Which we just did, and it actually means thanks for absolutely nothing. This is entirely your fault.
You've got it. Those are the obvious ones. But the everyday, subtle phrases are much trickier because they slip into casual conversation without the heavy sigh or the eye roll.
Right, like saying, must be nice.
Oh, you hear must be nice in offices all the time.
So how does that one work?
Well, someone announces, hey, I'm leaving early today to go to the beach. And the response is, must be nice.
And that is absolutely not a compliment.
Not at all. It implies a significant amount of jealousy or frustration that the speaker doesn't get to leave early, too.
Yeah, it's got a real bite to it. Or simply the word right.
Just said completely flatly with no follow-up.
Right. Yeah, it translates to, I don't believe a single word you are saying or what you just said makes literally no logical sense.
Exactly. What about shocking?
Oh, just saying the word shocking with a deadpan tone? It means you are completely unsurprised by a terrible outcome. Like, the project is delayed again. Shocking.
Spot on. And then there is the dry, British-influenced variety, which relies almost entirely on that flat tone without any big theatrical gestures at all.
Oh, the dry variety is lethal, saying fantastic after something objectively bad happens, or absolutely delightful when you're standing in the freezing rain waiting for a bus that just isn't coming.
And those phrases are everywhere. But here's the thing. Just because you can spot them and maybe even mimic that downward pitch does not mean you should immediately start deploying them left and right.
Yeah, a big warning here. Knowing when to use sarcasm is arguably way more important than knowing how to construct the sentence.
Absolutely. Context is everything.
I actually like to think of taking sarcasm outside your immediate friend group, like trying to use your local currency in a foreign country.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, like if you try to pay for your coffee in Tokyo with American dollars, the value doesn't just fail to translate. You cause a lot of confusion, you slow down the line, and you seriously annoy the barista.
The exchange rate for sarcasm is terrible.
It really is.
It flourishes between close friends. In some groups, it's practically their primary language. And it is also very common in the American workplace, but strictly among peers who know each other really, really well.
So just to be clear, I shouldn't tell my brand new CEO that his massive corporate restructuring plan is pure genius.
I mean, if your goal is early retirement, by all means, go for it.
Right.
But otherwise, no. You avoid it with new colleagues, formal presentations, clients, and certainly senior managers. The risk of sounding disrespectful or insubordinate is just too high.
Okay, so professional hierarchy is a danger zone.
Definitely. But the biggest danger zone of all, and this is a massive warning for anyone in our audience operating in global environments, is cross-cultural communication.
Yeah, we have to talk about this. Because sarcasm failure across borders is rarely about English language proficiency, is it?
No, not at all. It is almost always about deep-rooted cultural values regarding how different societies handle conflict and harmony.
Why does it bomb so badly across borders? What is the actual psychological disconnect there?
Well, take many East Asian communication cultures, for example. They place a massive premium on directness, respect, and social harmony.
Right.
So in that context, saying the opposite of what you mean to make a point doesn't read as clever or funny. It forces the listener to do unnecessary cognitive work just to decode your real meaning.
Which is burdensome.
Exactly. It's burdensome and impolite. It reads as abrasive or flat out rude because it disrupts the harmony of the entire conversation.
Wow, okay. And what about other regions?
Well, many Middle Eastern cultures favor warmth, hospitality, and directness. And sarcasm, by its very nature, is a cold, distant, and indirect tool.
It builds a wall of irony between the speaker and the listener.
Exactly. So it is highly likely to be completely misread or taken literally, which just leads to massive confusion.
So the golden rule is essentially, if in doubt, do not use sarcasm in professional settings until you truly understand the cultural background of the people you're dealing with.
Exactly. There is zero upside to a misread piece of sarcasm with an international client. Just don't do it.
Okay, so the professional and cultural risks are huge. But how do we safely engage when we are with our peers? When we actually want to participate in that bonding, how do we successfully pull off the trust fall?
There's actually a very practical toolkit for this. We can boil it down to 5 rules for safe usage.
Let's hear them.
Rule number 1, know your audience. Only use sarcasm with people who actively use it themselves.
If they don't serve it, don't volley it at them.
Exactly. Rule number 2, read the room. Sarcasm about a shared inconvenience, like the office internet going down, is fundamentally different from sarcasm about an individual's personal mistake.
Right, because one builds solidarity against a common enemy, and the other just breeds deep resentment.
Spot on. Rule number 3, use self-deprecating sarcasm. As we discussed earlier, making yourself the target is always the safest route.
You can't offend someone else if you are the punchline of your own joke.
Precisely. Rule number 4 builds right on that. Rely on situational sarcasm rather than personal attacks.
So directing your irony at a broken printer, the terrible weather, or the abstract concept of traffic is infinitely safer than directing it at a person's abilities.
Yes, keep the target external. And rule number 5, this is the texting rule. In text, always use an emoji.
The upside-down smiley face is a classic. Right?
The upside-down smiley face is perfect for indicating sarcasm. Or simply type a lull. You have to artificially signal the tone because the text cannot do it for you.
Okay, those 5 rules are super clear. But I want to talk about the deadpan technique really quickly. Because to me, if you can pull it off, that is like the absolute pinnacle of this linguistic art form.
Oh, deadpan is advanced. It's high risk, high reward.
How would you define it?
It's delivering an absurd or sarcastic comment with a completely neutral, expressionless tone and face. You give absolutely 0 visual or vocal hints that you are joking.
That sounds terrifying to try.
It is. When done well, it is incredibly funny because of the sheer contrast between the crazy words coming out of your mouth and the calm, serious look on your face.
But the risk, of course, is that because there are 0 clues, it can easily be missed completely.
Exactly. It's a tightrope walk.
Well, let's actually put all of this together. I want to act out the printer scene we have from the source material, and let's see if we can do this without any winking or nudging. It's Monday morning. I'll be coworker A, you be coworker B.
I am ready. Let's do it.
Okay. Oh, great. The printer's down again.
What a surprise.
I'm sure IT will get to it sometime this decade.
Absolutely. They're very responsive.
We could just go back to writing things by hand.
Brilliant idea. Revolutionary, really.
Wow. Okay, looking at you deliver that revolutionary, really line with 0 emotion was actually a little chilling.
I try my best.
No, but seriously, you gave me absolutely nothing to work with, no smile, no pitch change, but I still knew exactly what you meant.
Because the trust was already there. We both hate the printer. I didn't need to smile or laugh to prove I was joking. The shared frustration was the punchline.
Right.
I was using deadpan delivery, relying entirely on the context mismatch. Praising writing by hand as revolutionary is so absurd that it does all the heavy lifting for me.
It really is a perfect linguistic trust fall. Both coworkers caught each other effortlessly without ever breaking character. And honestly, at its core, that is what this whole complex, murky landscape is about. It's about shared understanding.
It totally is. And we've mapped out a lot of that landscape today. We distinguish sarcasm from lying, irony, and passive aggressiveness.
We tuned our radar to those incredibly subtle signals too, like the flat tone, the downward pitch, and the context mismatch.
And we navigated the very real cultural minefields where sarcasm basically goes to die. Plus, we laid out the concrete rules for safe usage, from reading the room to mastering that deadpan delivery.
Yeah. And the goal here isn't to force you to use sarcasm if it doesn't fit your personality. You never have to use it.
No, definitely.
The goal is just to give you the decoding ring so you can navigate spaces where native speakers use it constantly without feeling lost or taking things literally.
And we actually have a question for you, the listener. Have you ever been accidentally sarcastic and had it taken seriously?
Oh, that's a great question.
Or, on the flip side, have you ever had someone be sarcastic to you and you took it completely literally, leading to an awkward situation? Drop the story in the comments. It happens way more often than people admit.
It is a remarkably easy trap to fall into. But before we go, I want to leave you with one final, slightly provocative thought to chew on.
Okay, let's hear it.
If sarcasm relies entirely on deeply shared human context, subtle microexpressions, and shared cultural background, what happens as our primary communication shifts more and more to AI and automated text translations?
Oh, wow.
Right. Will sarcasm become a lost art, completely smoothed over by literal translation algorithms? Or will AI eventually learn the nuances, figure out the context mismatch, and start rolling its digital eyes at us?
That is a very unsettling but genuinely fascinating thought. Imagine your smart speaker using flawless deadpan sarcasm when you ask it for the weather forecast for the fifth time.
Oh, look, it's raining again. Shocking.
Terrifying.
Something to ponder next time you talk to a machine. Remember, language isn't just about the rigid definitions in a textbook. It's about the messy human space between the words. Sometimes that neat dictionary really is broken, and you just have to trust the fall. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.